Alright, so this is Unit 5 and Lesson 2, and you should be on page 74. And I'm just going to start off with an example, and we've already kind of worked with the distributive property before, but if you need a reminder, the definition is down here. That just means we're multiplying a sum by multiplying each add-in separately and then add the products. So the first thing, if you notice in these examples down here, is that they're taking this 5 and multiplying it by both terms inside the parentheses. So there's a 5 times n and a 5 times 9. So really they're just taking this number on the outside and multiplying it to both terms inside. And we've already been working with this before, and we're just going to continue practicing with it today. So the first example that I'm going to do is negative 3 times 4x plus 3. I'm going to take this 3 on the outside, and I'm going to multiply it by each term inside the parentheses. So I'm going to take negative 3 times 4x. And remember that a number next to parentheses like this just means multiplication. Bring down this plus sign, and 3 times 3, so negative 3 times 3. Now you need to remember your multiplication rule, so a negative times a positive, two different signs. So my answer is going to be a negative. 3 times 4x is 12x, so negative 12x, plus, again, a negative times a positive, two different signs, equals a negative, so negative 3 times 3 is 9, so negative 9. And that is your final answer. So for the example in green now, we are going to do 6 times negative 2x plus 7. So again, we're just taking the number on the outside and multiplying it by each term inside the parentheses. So 6 times negative 2x plus 6 goes to 7, 6 times 7. 6 times a negative, so a positive times a negative is a negative. 6 times 2x is 12x. And 6 times 7 is 42. And that is your final answer. So today's objective is going to be, I will expand expressions using the distributive property. Alright, so on page 75 now, we're looking at 3 examples that we'll do together. So in this box, I am just going to write down my multiplication rules, just to remind us of our rules. So remember, if we have same sign, my answer is a positive, and different signs, my answer is a negative. So again, we're going to take the number on the outside and multiply it to both terms inside the parentheses. Now something to remember, if I have a variable with no number in front of it, so again, a variable is a letter, so if there's no number in front of it, we know that there's an invisible 1 right there, so that's really 1x plus 4. I'm going to take this negative 5 and multiply it, so negative 5 times 1x plus negative 5 times 4, and multiply negative times a positive, two different signs, is a negative, so negative 5x, plus a negative times a positive again, so different signs, negative 5 times 4 is 20. And that is the first one. So all we're doing is taking the number on the outside and multiplying it by each term inside the parentheses. Now something on number 2, we have 12 times 3p minus 5. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of the keep change inside the parentheses. And remember, we call this the small keep change. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's also going to help me remember or not lose my negative in this case. So for example, so first let's take care of keep change and parentheses. I'm just going to put small because that's what we're working with. And then 2 of them we're going to distribute. So we're using our multiplication rules again. So I have 12 times 3p minus 5. I'm going to use keep change on the inside. Remember, my small is on the inside. So keep 3p, change to a plus, and change to a negative 5. So now I have 12 times 3p plus negative 5. Here I'm going to do my distributive property, 12 times 3p. plus 12 times negative 5. So now I have 12 times 3p. Both are positive, so my answer is going to be positive because they have the same sign. So positive 36p plus a positive times a negative equals a negative. Negative 12 times 5 is 60. Now let's look at number 3. Number 3, my first thing is take care of keep, change, both big and small, but in this case we have a plus sign in between the parentheses, so we don't need to do a big keep, change. If this was subtraction, then yes. So I'm just going to put big and small if necessary though, but again we don't need to do big because there's not a subtraction sign right here. Then step 2 is distribute 3, combine like terms. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this just so it's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to take care of the small keep, change in here. So I'm going to keep, change, and this becomes plus a negative 3 in parentheses 5 plus 2. So now that I have numbers on the outside of both of them, I do need to do the distributive property on this first term also. So it's not just this one. We need to take care of these two on the outside of this parentheses. So to do that, and again remember the keep, change is just going to help remember that this is a negative 3. So I'm going to take my 2 times x. Remember there's just an invisible 1 right there, so it's 2 times 1x plus 2 times negative 3. And then over here, I am just going to do this in black. We're going to do 5 times 1x plus 5 times 2. Let's do the multiplication. We get 2x. A positive times a negative is a negative 6. Plus 5x plus 10. Now we can combine like terms. So I'm going to combine my x's together, 7x, and combined my constants together to get 4. 7x plus 4. Remember, you're just adding, so 10 plus a negative 6, 2 different signs, so subtract, and that's how I get a positive 4. Okay, so let's turn the page. We're now on page 76 in our volume 2 books. And let's start off with our first step as keep, change. Let's do big and small if necessary. So I'm going to do that right now so that we can see it as we write it. So in this case, because the two terms are being separated by this minus sign, it's kind of a big one. So we're going to do the big keep, change first. And I'm going to keep this whole thing the same. I'm going to change and change. So this now becomes plus a negative 2 times 2x plus 5. So that negative is going to belong to the 2 on the outside. So now we are going to distribute. So step 2, I don't have any small ones, and looking inside the parentheses there's no subtraction, so I don't need to take care of a small keep, change. Now let's distribute, and remember we need to distribute the 3 and we need to distribute the negative 2 now. So let's take this 3 times, remember there's an invisible 1 right there, 1x plus 3 times 3. And the next one, again, remember it's a negative 2 now, so a negative 2 times 2x and a negative 2 times 5. A lot of us, the mistake was with the parentheses. We were adding the -2 plus 2x, which is not the right way to distribute. So now let's multiply. Remember, distribute property just means to multiply. So now I have 3 times 3x, or 3 times 1x is 3x, plus 3 times 3 is 9, plus -2 times 2x, a negative times a positive is a negative 4x, and -2 times positive 5 is a negative 10. Now I can combine like terms. So final step, combine like terms. Make sure your answer is written as an expression. So combine like terms. We're going to put our x's together. I have a 3 plus a -4. Subtract 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 is bigger than 3, so a -1x. Plus, we have 9 plus a -10. Two different signs, so subtract 10 minus 9 is 1, and it is negative because 10 is bigger than 9, so -1. Okay, we can leave our answer like this. And that is 25. Okay, and the last problem on this page is just to use the distributive property. So again, let's take care of our keep, change, change, big and small. There is no big one because there's not another set of parentheses next to it. So we're just going to take care of the small keep, change, change inside the parentheses. So we have -4 times 11 minus a. Keep, change, change. This becomes 11 plus a -a. Now we're going to distribute. So step 2, distribute. So that means we're taking this 4 and distributing it to the 11. So -4 times 11 plus -4 times, remember there's a 1 in front of the a. So -4 times -1a. Multiply, negative times a positive is a negative, 4 times 11 is 44, plus negative times a negative is a positive, so positive 4a. Okay, we can leave it like that. We can write it flip-flop, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to write mine with my constant last, so 4a plus a -44. We didn't need to combine like terms because they're not like. This has an a, and it does not have the same variable. So because this is a constant and this is a number and a variable, we cannot combine them. And this is your final answer.